Hmm? Oh, hey there. Nice night out, isn't it? Yeah, I've been doing my best to enjoy the night sky and the city sounds. Kind of funny how a place like hell can still be so enjoyable, in a way. Well, when it's peaceful, that is. So, what brings you out here? Wanted to shoot the shit for a bit of time? Oh? Ah, I see. Want to hear another story, do you? Well, I think I have just the thing. Cool trick, huh? Still has taught me it. He's been showing me all the different types of magic and spells. Pretty crazy how I can do that stuff too. Ah, here's the perfect story. You know Verosika, right? The pop star, seen as a total sex icon, got them hips and thigh eyes. Yeah, I know, she's an attractive one. Well, what if I told you that, in another reality, she too found her perfect person? Yeah, I know, crazy, right? Believe me, this is a crazy little adventure, but a heartwarming one. This story is known as the Popstar and the Violinist, coming from the Swords of Dawn universe. Chapter 1: A Fateful Encounter. A blazing red sky hung over what was known as the Wrath Ring of Hell, one of the 7 rings of Hell, and well known for its agricultural base that provides food for all the 7 rings. It was a desolate desert place filled with various volcanoes and large monstrous fiery creatures. There were a few occasional towns similar to a Western motif filled with various imps walking around doing their daily chores. But they all shared the common belief that only the toughest and strongest can make it out in Wrath. They were all fans of battle and war, taking great pleasure in all kinds of carnage just to show their mettle. However, not all the denizens of Wrath were like this, as there were a rare few that would go against the norm. On the street against the blazing heat was a succubus hailing from the Lust Ring, who has a small blossoming music career as a future pop singer. She had an hourglass figure with perky D-cup breasts, hot pink skin, and a long tail that ended with a spade-shaped black tip. 2 black-tipped horns, with her left horn being slightly taller than her right horn, with 2 black stars on each side. Her eyes were hot pink with small black pupils, yellow sclera, and a small black heart tattoo under her right eye. She has long white hair and pink undertones from lighter to darker towards the tips, and a darker pink streak down the length and across the bangs. Her red dress was matted with mud in several places, and several rips and tears near the edge of her skirt. She was known as Verosika Mayday. Verosika was a rising star, getting plenty of gigs and venues, each time getting better and more luxurious with each show booking. She knew it was only a matter of time before someone noticed her and her talent. Unfortunately, getting attention was also the reason for her current predicament. While playing a show at a relatively well-known club in the Lust Ring, she had encountered an imp by the name of Blitz, who had just finished pummeling several other demons into a bloody mess. A quick conversation revealed that the imp was just bored out of his mind and just wanted to fight someone. She was impressed with how many opponents he took down, and his quirky demeanor had piqued Veronica's interest. She invited the imp to a bar and started chatting him up. Eventually, things escalated to where they were waking up together after a long night of fornication with a wicked hangover from all their alcohol consumption. This eventually started their relationship between the two. She thought it was wonderful at first with how confident and assertive he was in what he wanted. But he was also so stingy on reciprocating the favor when she asked for her turn. Though in the beginning she didn't pay much attention to it at first and let it slide. She was also a bit confused as to his fascination with horses as well. He was loud, passionate, brash, and she adored him for it. The first few weeks of their relationship had been the best, littered with excitement, lust, and debauchery, much to her delight. Veronica had believed she had truly found the one for her, and even got a tattoo to prove it as a sign of her devotion. However, that's when things started to take a turn for the worse. Blitz's loud-mouthed personality had begun to grate on the succubus as he seemed to grow more and more self-centered by the day. She thought she was being too harsh and judgmental at first, thinking it was just the stress of her being called away to her gigs that was taking its toll. She decided to make it up to him by buying him a horse figurine as a means of an apology, but he just stole her purse and ran off somewhere, completely leaving her dumbfounded. He later returned empty-handed with more figurines and a bill to her name with large charges and fees that she had to pay off. She tried to talk to him various times, but he always ignored her as if he didn't care and would run off somewhere causing trouble. Veronica was becoming more and more frustrated as she tried her best to repair the relationship, but he didn't seem to care at all and would always rebuff her whenever she tried. The relationship quickly deteriorated as the pair kept getting into shouting matches, trashed hotel rooms, and broken miscellaneous items everywhere the duo went. Veronica grew cold towards her boyfriend, and his behavior was somehow becoming more erratic than usual. It all ended one day after a session of hate sex that always ended poorly for her, since she would always find something broken, stolen, or just missing afterwards. This time, however, she awoke in her hotel room, only to find that Blitz had stolen her car and took it on a joyride, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. She was incredibly furious at him, and finally had enough of his attitude. She decided that she was going to put her foot down, or up his ass, depending on how things went, and tracked him down to the Wrath Ring until she saw the totaled remains of cars. She also found her empty wallet in the passenger seat, increasing her rage more, and followed the trail of booze bottles and vomit to a nearby ranch where he had maxed out all of her credit cards on a shitty horse riding lesson. She found him outside, staring at a large demonic fire stallion grazing nearby, and stopped over to him, angrily yelling his name. She picked up a horseshoe and threw it straight to his face, followed by a rage-induced breakup calling him out for his selfishness in front of a large crowd, publicly humiliating him. He yelled back, insulting her as well, before she snapped, and hit him with every possible object she can get her hands on, before finally stepping on his balls with her heel and stopping away. She started to make the long trek home, giving her wings a break after flying non-stop from ranch to ranch looking for him, and practically radiating an angry aura around her. She had been so consumed by fury that she wasn't paying attention to where she was going, and wound up becoming hopelessly lost on the side of the street, until she came to a small town. It was scorching hot, making the succubus sweat profusely, as she wasn't used to the kind of heat in the Wrath Ring ruining her makeup and hair. She grumbled on how she wished her ex-boyfriend was dead when a large wind started to kick up some dust, burning her eyes, and dirtying her outfit more. She cursed her ex more from her shitty luck that left her stuck in the middle of the Wrath Ring, with no money, no car, and stuck in a small town desert. Everywhere she looked, there was always some old, deserted-looking building, or some imps smiling wickedly with knives in their hand, making her weary of their presence. She kept looking around, trying to get some semblance to retrace her steps, but couldn't find any familiar landmark or surrounding. She was so blinded in her rage and trying to find Blitz that she failed to notice her surroundings, and just kept walking onwards in the rising heat, getting more and more lost and more distraught with each step. She kept thinking on how things couldn't get any worse, wiping away some sand in her eyes, when one of her heels suddenly broke against a huge crack. Verosika tumbled forward face first into the concrete, noticing several drops of her own black blood dripping down. "Fucking damn it!" screeched Verosika, clutching her bleeding head, and took off her other heel. She kept walking on, only to keep stepping on pebbles, hurting her feet, and the heated sidewalk was starting to burn her soles as well. She ran over to an alleyway to give her feet some rest, feeling a mixture of various emotions, and still bleeding from her head wound that now ruined her dress. She slumped down against the wall, burying her face into her hands as she cried in anger and frustration at everything that's happened. "Damn it! I fucking hate this! No car, no money, no help. It's all fucking pointless. I spent months saving up for these shoes and dress, and he wastes it all in the middle of fucking nowhere," angrily yelled out Verosika, while crying out in frustration. She replayed the events that happened and kept wondering just how in the world she fell for someone like Blitz. She curled up into a ball and kept crying into her knees, clutching to her ruined heels, while wondering if she would ever get out of this mess. She soon started to give up in ever finding her fame and fortune, and wondered if she was going to die here for being an easy target. She soon heard footsteps approaching, making her flinch, and tightly held her good heel ready to be used as a weapon. "If this is how I die, at least I'm not going down without a fight." The footsteps soon stopped for a moment when she heard them approach her. She readied herself and was about to attack the oncoming stranger, but her vision was blurred by her own tears and sand caked into her eyes. She tried to rub them out of the way to at least see her would-be attacker, when what happened next shocked her. "Excuse me, miss, are you alright?" asked a soft voice, catching her off guard. "Do you need some help?" Verosika blinked a few times, finally clearing her vision to look up at the stranger. He was a peculiar-looking demon, confusing Verosika with his appearance. He had ash-gray skin with red sclera and glowing white irises similar to a hellhound, messy purple hair with a silver streak going to his left bang, a button nose, dark purple fur on top of his arms stopping just below his wrist, and black claw-like nails. He was wearing a white shirt with a black and red hoodie over it, ripped jean shorts with black modified stockings due to his digitigrade stance that had 2 large claws. He also had a long skinny tail that ended in a truffle of purple fur similar to his arms, 2 large bat-like ears sticking on top of his head, and 2 large black leathery wings behind him. She wiped away some tears to get a better look at him before remembering that she was still in wrath. "Who the fuck are you, and what do you want?" angrily responded Verosika. "Huh? Oh, right. How rude of me. I'm Rivian Nightwing. I'm a Hellbat hybrid. It's nice to meet you, miss, drowned out Rivian, giving her a warm smile with one of his sharp fangs peeking out of his mouth. "Verosika, now get the fuck away from me," yelled Verosika with her eyes flashing pink for a moment. "But you're hurt, and I don't think being in a dirty alleyway is quite an ideal place for a beautiful succubus like yourself to be in," said a concerned Rivian, noticing her wound and blood-stained dress. "The heat waves and wrath can be quite intense, and that's coming from me since I live here. I can't just let someone injured be out here alone." "Will you fuck off already? I've been having a really shitty day today, and I don't need some dumbass rat with wings pitying me. Just leave me alone," yelled Verosika, waving her shoe near his face, forcing him to back off a bit with his hands in the air. Please, Miss Verosika, at least let me help you get out of this alleyway. There's a truck stop diner near here where at least you won't have to deal with the hot sidewalk. And you won't have to wait for hours so a building can cast a shadow and have the sidewalk cool off a bit. Maybe help you get some new shoes at least so you won't be barefooted." Verosika scowled at his explanation, looking between his hand and his face, and continued to wipe away some tears. "I can't. I don't have any money, and I'm not in the mood for any sexual favors either." Yeah, you don't have to worry about that, said Rivian, blushing a bit. I'll pay for the meal and the new shoes, said the Hellbat, offering a hand to her. Come now. I'm sure things will brighten up a bit after a full stomach. It's my treat. No strings attached, I promise. Fine, grumbled Verosika, grabbing his hand as he lifted her up to her feet, noticing he was slightly shorter than her. He was roughly about a head taller than Blitz, making her scowl at the memory of her ex. Rivian turned around and got on one knee, offering to piggyback her. This better not be some shitty excuse to grab my ass, either. Trust me, it's nothing like that. I swear, stammered Rivian, blushing profusely. Verosika smirked a bit at his reaction and got on his back, making sure to accommodate space for his wings, knowing just how uncomfortable it could be whenever someone obstructs them. She wrapped her tail around his waist and gently hoisted her up as he walked along the road. She kept accommodating herself, noticing that his wings would occasionally twitch uncomfortably, and he would stop to make sure she was in a comfortable position as well before continuing on his trek. So, what kind of Hellbat has backward legs, oversized wings, and very little fur with gray skin? Asked Verosika, trying to break the awkward silence. Noticed that, have you? Chuckled Rivian, making Verosika scowl back at him. Bad joke. Got it. Well, to be honest, I have no idea. I was just a pup when I was left on the doorstep of an orphanage. From what the owner told me, she said my mom must have fucked a thestrial and somehow got knocked up, if you can believe that. What? Oh, one of those skeleton dragon horses that can travel freely between here and the living world. Either that or one of my parents might have been a hellhound. I don't know if it's true, but hey, who am I to argue? Said Rivian. Aren't you even curious as to who your parents are? Asked Verosika. Not really. I mean, I must have been some kind of accident or freak of nature if I was abandoned with no note for so many years. Besides, the orphanage was torture for me. Everyone would beat me up or make fun of me because of my wings. Don't even get me started on flying lessons either, said Rivian, shivering at the memory. Lot of crash landings? Asked Verosika, remembering her own flying lessons as a child. And self-taught. Had to learn from watching one of the rare tourists that would come down here to visit some of the ranches, explained Rivian, when he realized something. How come you didn't fly away as well instead of walking on your broken heel? I don't want to talk about it. Let's just say it's the reason for my shitty day here, angrily muttered Verosika. Fair enough. A lady deserves her privacy as well, but on the bright side, we're here at the diner, as promised. I know a shoe store nearby where we can get you some new replacement shoes after we eat. Thought you might like a full stomach first, smiled Rivian, making Verosika mutter when her stomach gave off a loud growl. Verosika looked around the diner, looking exactly as how she pictured it from an old movie era she has seen. She wasn't the least impressed by it, with everything as a cliche reminder of bad movies, but she was at least grateful she was out of the alleyway. Riven had managed to get some alcohol to sterilize her wound, and some bandages for her. He finished bandaging up some of her other scrapes, trying to be as gentle as possible. She was at least grateful for him trying. You two lovebirds gonna order something, or do I have to kick you out? This ain't some whorehouse here, said an old female imp in a grunt voice, wearing a pink waitress outfit, a cigar in her mouth, too much eyeshadow, and a hairy mole on the side of her face. Hi, Agnes. I'm just helping out my friend here for a bad situation. I'll have my usual steak, please, with fries and a milkshake, said Riven in a polite tone. Uh-huh, whatever. What about your whore here? Just get me the biggest burger you have, another milkshake, and don't skip out on the fries either, said Verosika in a bored tone. Whatever you say, hon. Just don't expect any of that fancy schmancy frou-frou stuff here. You okay with that? Asked Agnes in a bored tone. Just get us our food already, growled Verosika. Feisty, ain't ya? I respect that, said Agnes, walking away. The fuck is wrong with these cowboy yokels here? Muttered an annoyed Verosika. Yeah, sorry about that. That's how things in Wrath work around here. Survival of the fittest. If you're too weak, then you're just dead weight that needs to be killed off, explained Riven. This place is fucked up if you ask me, muttered Verosika. Is it any different than Lust or any other ring? Asked Riven. You got me there. Though Lust is better if you ask me. Better at getting laid than getting beat up, said Verosika, looking out the window when she noticed that he was genuinely asking her about the other rings. Wait, you've seriously never been outside of Wrath? Not really. Well, never actually. I don't have enough money, and just getting a job here is tough enough, since I can never complete my full list of chores around some of the ranches I've worked in. I tried getting a part-time job in town, but, well, let's just say that I learned firsthand on what it means to be weak around here, said Riven with his ears down. Verosika looked outside the window, noticing several imps getting into fights and brawls every so often, resulting in various injuries. Some even showed off their battle scars as badges of honor, impressing some female imps, only for them to get into a brawl to see who'll get to fuck the buff imp first, making her cringe at the sight. She saw that many of the buff imps had the mentality of the typical jock that seemed to be on ego trips and get into the stupidest arguments just to start a brawl. I see what you mean, muttered Verosika, cringing at some blood splattering on the floor, creating an awkward silence between them. So, drowned out Riven, getting her attention once again, do you want to talk about what happened? I mean, if that's alright with you. Not really, groaned Verosika, with Agnes bringing over their milkshakes. It might make you feel better. Bottling up negativity is never good for anyone's health. Just even letting off some steam would at least make your shitty day less shitty, said Riven with a smile. Verosika looked at him while twirling her straw in her milkshake, trying to figure out his endgame. She learned that there was always a catch when it comes to other demons, and she was usually quick on the uptake in knowing what they want. Usually, it's just to have her in bed. However, she couldn't figure out the Hellbat's motive, and just chucked it up as him trying to sleep with her. I already told you I'm not in the mood. Miss Verosika, I'm not trying to sleep with you or anything like that. I swear I'm not up to anything. I just want to help you. I'm not going to do anything you're not up to. If you want to vent, then please vent away. The hospital personnel tell me I'm usually a good listener, or when my jaw isn't the one being healed up. Nervously chuckled Riven, feeling a bit flustered with Verosika looking at him strangely. Sorry, I'm babbling now. I'm just... Is this your first time taking out a girl on a date or something? Said Verosika, genuinely curious as to how he was behaving. Well, not a date, just, in general, really. Ever, muttered Riven, slumping down in his seat, shocking Verosika before she started laughing at his reaction, surprising him. I'm sorry, it's just the way you act. It's just the complete opposite of what I've seen around here, laughed Verosika, wiping away a tear. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not you. It's been a long time since I had someone act like this with me. It's actually quite refreshing. Thanks. It's been ages since I felt like I could laugh with someone. Oh, you're welcome, I guess, said Riven, blushing, feeling slightly better that she wasn't laughing at him. You're right, said Verosika, getting his attention as their food arrived. About the venting, I mean. I guess I can tell you what happened. It all started with a limp-dick imp named Blitz. She went on to tell her story about their relationship from how they met, to his selfishness, to eventually their explosive breakup. She even showed him the heart tattoo she got with his name on it, but was now thinking it was a mistake to get it. She soon started ranting on about her feelings and everything else she had bottled up inside, unaware of how much she repressed. She saw his reactions go much along with her, to some where he was scared when she squished a ketchup packet so hard that it burst in her grip. She was even eating her food, still ranting on about more of Blitz's faults, and how she always suspected that he secretly wanted a horse to fuck him as well. She eventually started rambling on how he wanted to do some extreme sex involving car batteries and bear traps, making the winged Hellbat cringe at her description. More and more, she felt herself become lighter in a sense, and soon realized that she had let loose everything that was wrong with their relationship to a complete stranger. She didn't know why she did it, but she felt as if she could trust him. So, there you have it. My complete fucked up love life. What led to it, my selfish fucked up ex, and how I ended up in this shithole of a town, sighed Verosika, licking her fingers after finishing her burger and dunking some fries in her milkshake. Wow, that's just... wow, said Riven, unable to think of anything to say. This imp is really... an inconsiderate asswipe who's the bane of all existence that needs to be tortured in the worst way possible while being skinned alive until he begs for death and then painfully trampled to death by his favorite horses, commented Verosika, slurping her milkshake. Well, that's one way to put it, I guess. I mean, he's definitely inconsiderate by the way you described him, but this... wow, was all Riven could comment. Tell me about it. I let him into my heart and that fucker decides to rip it out for giggles. Fuck, how could he even do this to me? And everything I did for him, nearly yelled Verosika. Hey, it's not your fault. I mean, you even said that you were willing to try and talk to him, and was even willing to go to therapy to help your relationship. It's his fault that he didn't want to. It sounded like he was acting out every time you tried to get close to him, and all he did was lash out at you for even trying. You're better off without that toxic relationship affecting you, if he was afraid of that much of a commitment. Right now, you should just try to pick yourself up from here on out, said Riven, putting a reassuring hand on top of hers. I guess. He always did yell at me every time I brought up the subject of being a bit more serious. Guess he was afraid of commitment, like you said. But fuck, at least have the balls to tell me that instead of playing with my heart. Lousy micro-dick bastard, yelled Verosika in anger, getting some stares and making Riven feel slightly uncomfortable. She noticed how nervous he looked when she looked around at some of the patrons and employees staring at them. The fuck you fuckers looking at? Can't a girl express her pain to her friend without you judgmental assholes staring at her? Everyone soon went back to their business, with Verosika finishing her drink. She saw he was meekly twirling his milkshake with his ears down and his wings drooped at his side while trying to make himself appear small. You're not one for confrontation, are you? Not really. I'm not much of a fighter. I mean, I can try to defend myself, but let's just say I'm always a loser in those fights, said Riven, avoiding eye contact. So when you said that you knew the hospital personnel, it's because I'm a frequent flyer there. I always end up with a broken bone, my jaw damaged, my wings stepped on, and all that. I'm surprised I can still fly with how many times some huge imp has broken my wings to prove how much of a wimp I am, or just to blame me to the boss that I was slacking off when I wasn't. Like I said before, in Wrath, if you're weak, you're dead, and I'm the weakest around, said Riven. Is that why you can't get a girl? Verosika asked. No. Well, sort of. It's complicated. Part of it is that, and the other part, oh, well, you know, said Riven, flexing his wings a bit. What about it? Asked Verosika. How many other hellbats do you know that look like a scrawny version of Frankenstein's monster made out of random parts like me? Asked Riven. Oh, yeah, that's what I figured, sighed Riven dejectedly. Besides, I'm a freak. No one wants me. Just like she said. Verosika heard him mutter the last part, knowing that there was a story behind that comment, and just as heartbreaking as hers from what she could tell. However, she decided that it would be better for her just to let it be, since it wasn't her place to do so, as ironic as it would be. She had just met this stranger, and unknowingly poured her heart out to him. She found it strange that he would approach her and help her the way he did. But she would guess that it was because he didn't have anyone and just wanted to help someone in need, who probably experienced something similar to him. Here's your bill, Runt. Make sure you pay it before something else happens, or before someone comes in and sees your whore, said Agnes, putting the bill in front of them. Thanks for the meal, Agnes. Tip's in there for you, said Riven, getting up. Come on, Miss Verosika. Just Verosika. You don't need to be formal around me, said Verosika. Well, alright, Verosika, stammered Riven, blushing a bit. Let's go get you some new shoes so you're not barefooted anymore. The pair went about a shoe store, with Verosika picking out a pair of pink shoes that he paid for. They went about walking around, noticing that it was getting darker, and decided to head out to the station to buy Verosika a ticket. What do you mean you're closed? It's not even close to closing time, argued Verosika with the ticket imp. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, babe. It's been hot for the last couple of days, and the sandstorms haven't been any better. They've been initiated a fire tornado watch because of the heat. Last time that happened, the station was nearly destroyed. Now, if you really want a ticket, perhaps you can make it worth my while, said the imp, lustfully growling at her after noticing her curvaceous body. Go choke on a sandpaper cock, you. She's not interested. We'll come back tomorrow, sir, interrupted Riven, gently pushing Verosika away before she beat up the imp. Is every imp like this? Or is it just every guy I meet? Growled Verosika angrily. That's a bit hurtful, commented Riven, snapping Verosika out of her anger. Huh? Oh, sorry, not you. Well, technically I don't even know you, but I guess you're more civilized than these fuckers, said Verosika. I was just trying to make a joke, but thanks for the compliment, said Riven, scratching his cheek. Guess I'll have to stay here since I don't have any money for a hotel, angrily muttered Verosika. Well, not necessarily. I mean, if you want, you could come and spend the night, if that's okay, muttered Riven, twiddling his fingers in his hand when he realized what he said. Not like that, I mean. Just for the night, I mean, to sleep. Nothing more or anything like that. I mean, relax, Fluffy. I know what you meant. Thanks, but no thanks. You've already done so much already. I don't want to impose, said Verosika. No, it's really no trouble. And if we're on a fire tornado watch, at least my apartment has a basement that we can go into if it does happen. Those terrors really aren't something you want to be around when it hits. Especially in here that was almost nearly destroyed, like he said Riven. I guess. You sure you don't mind? Asked Verosika. Of course. Please, I insist. I wouldn't be much of a gentleman if I didn't help a lady in need, said Riven with a small, courteous bow, making her blush at his gesture. Thanks, I guess, muttered Verosika, avoiding eye contact while trying to hide a small blush. Would you like to go pick out some clothes then? I'm sure you would prefer something that was more comfortable to sleep in and to wear tomorrow, suggested Riven. Just for tomorrow is fine. I usually sleep in the nude anyway, said Verosika, walking out of the station, leaving behind a blushing Hellbat. Hey, you coming or what? Right, sorry, called out Riven, following behind her. The duo spent most of the day looking for clothes for Verosika to wear, usually making her toss around various clothing of all kind, looking for cute and glamorous things to wear. It was when she was about to head to the register that she suddenly remembered she didn't have any money, and she didn't want to take advantage of the Hellbat's kindness. After all, she still could have been stuck in that alleyway, hurting her feet, and wallowing in sorrow if it wasn't for him reaching out to help her. She picked out a simple shirt, hoodie, and pants to take to the register. Is that all? You seem excited about the other stuff, asked Riven. It's fine. Besides, it's just for one day. I need to get back to Lust to sort out all the shit my dickhead ex created, said Verosika in a somber tone, confusing Riven. Verosika thought back about her situation as she saw Riven paying for her stuff. She barely knew the winged Hellbat, but he bought her a hot meal, offered to pay for some of the necessities she needed, healed her wounds, and is now offering her a bed for the night without any expectations. Being a succubus and a rising pop star, she was no stranger to all kinds of scumbags who often take advantage of naive girls, and she always went on that there was always a catch when it came to all kinds of dealings. However, with the Hellbat, it confused her, wondering if he was planning something or was biding his time. I don't feel like he's out to get me, and he doesn't look like he's going to pounce on me to take advantage of me. If anything, I think he's really trying to help me, but why? Verosika? Verosika? Huh? What? You said something? Asked Verosika after being snapped out of her thoughts. Thought I'd lost you there. You seemed really deep in thought. Sorry if it was something important, said Riven, handing her a shopping bag with her clothes. No, it's fine. Just tired is all, groaned Verosika. My apartment is nearby. We can go there so you can rest up. There's a convenience store nearby also if you want to buy some midnight snacks, smiled Riven, opening the door for her. Well, I did eat a burger. What's a few more calories, right? Not like I'm going to lose my figure in one day, said Verosika, making a blush at her comment. Here we are, home sweet home. Please pardon the mess, I don't usually get company, said Riven, entering his apartment to pick up some discarded clothes that missed the hamper and some dishes that were left on the sink. Verosika looked around, noticing a relatively clean bedroom apartment with basic furniture and appliances. She also noticed a lack of photos of himself, but noticed some frames with motivational sayings inside, or pictures of musical notes. You call this a mess? I've seen worse. I once trashed an entire hotel room, remember? Said Verosika, dropping her stuff by the entrance. Yeah, I remember. I've been thinking of moving, though, at least to get a fresh start. Just something away from here from all the pain and sorrow this place has caused me. Sadly, I don't have enough just yet, and I'm not familiar with any of the other rings, so I'm at a loss, said Riven, taking out some sliced watermelon after washing the dishes. You must have at least done some research to find a new place, said Verosika, joining him in the small kitchen. I was looking over some of the rings. Lust seems nice, but it's a little too expensive for my taste. Don't get me started on greed, too, said Riven, taking out another plate. Yeah, no shit. Lust and greed can get pretty pricey if you're not careful. How about pride? Ever heard of Imp City? Asked Verosika, taking a watermelon slice. Imp City? Isn't that the place where they do the yearly extermination for all those sinner souls up there that died? Asked Riven, a bit hesitant. Yeah, but it's like once a year. They have a huge clock tower that counts down the days, and you can just go to a different ring until it's over, or go to the designated shelter ahead of time. At least that place is reasonable, and a good place to start at least. Something I might have to do as well, said Verosika in a solemn tone. Advice from your ex? Asked Riven. He was a dickhead, but he still had some good insight to business venues. I'd be stupid or idiotic to not take it if I needed it, said Verosika, with Riven nodding his head in agreement. Is Imp City where you started as well? Asked Riven, trying to change the subject so she wouldn't get depressed thinking about her ex again. Yeah, it's not as glamorous as Lust, but hey, everywhere you go has its ups and downs. It's also a good place to restart once I finish sorting out all the debt, too. I know I can make it big, and soon you'll be seeing my name in the lights across all 7 rings, said Verosika, twirling in her chair. I believe that. At least I can say that I once helped the fabulous Verosika Mayday, though I'm sure you'll forget about me once you make it big. I'm sure a popular star like you wouldn't want someone like me cramping your style or anything, said Riven, serving up some water for her. Why? You really think I'm that heartless and cruel to forget about someone who helped me? Asked Verosika, feeling a bit insulted. It's nothing like that, or anything against you. I'm just a boring guy with nothing memorable other than being the weird Hellbat, who doesn't even look like a Hellbat. Really, I'm nothing special, said Riven with a sad look as he cut more watermelon. Who was it? Asked Verosika, knowing the look on his face all too well. Who was what? Asked Riven. Don't act dumb. Who was the one that broke your heart? Asked Verosika, staring at him. Someone who I thought liked me, but it was all just a cruel prank on her part. Let's just leave it at that, please, sighed Riven, putting another piece of watermelon on his plate. Alright, I won't push you on it. But just so you know, when I do make it big, I won't forget about you. Besides, I don't think you're that boring. You must be good at something, said Verosika. Well, I stammered Riven, looking over a corner at a box, but shook his head. Nothing worth noting. Anyways, the bathroom is at the end of the hall. If you want, you can have the room, and I'll sleep on the couch. I have a spare toothbrush in the medicine cabinet, and the towels are on the bathroom drawer of the sink, if you want to take a bath. You're welcome to use anything you need. Ah, someone has a secret talent. Wonder what it could be. If it's something to do with your bat tongue, I'll have to test that, said Verosika, making him do a spit take. Sorry, I'm a succubus. It's in my nature, but still, thank you for taking me in for the night. I'll take you up on your offer to take a bath, though. Don't think about peeking in. Or do. I guess I won't mind if it was you. Veronica, stammered Riven. Succubus nature. Can't really help it. It'd be like not being able to eat chocolate since you might be part hellhound, said Veronica, going towards the bathroom. That's only for earth dogs. I can eat chocolate just fine, blushed Riven, making him think about her comment. Can I even eat chocolate? I mean, I don't feel sick when I do. Better call the doctor to find out, muttered Riven, taking out his phone. Veronica sighed loudly in the bathtub, filled with bubbles, while continuing her contemplation from earlier that day. She thought the hellbat was strange, but in a good way. Well, at least he's decent. He may be scrawny, but then again, some beefcakes tend to be Indians. Sometimes brains can be sexy as well. Ugh, my wings hurt from flying all over Wrath looking for that asshole. I think I strained a muscle too. It was nice of him to at least help me take care of my wounds. Wonder just how bad this bitch he liked hurt him. Reminds me of me when Blitz and I first had our first fight. But Fluffy doesn't like to fight back. He certainly has confidence issues too. Fuck, living in a society where the strong get to decide everything really can't beat anyone down. Maybe I should fuck him. Nah, not really in the mood after today. But he did open up to me as well. I mean, fuck, I spilled my guts to him after just one day, and he was sweet enough to do the same. I really should pay him back somehow. I can't exactly wait until I recover from Blitz's fucking debt either. Oh, fuck. What if he's a virgin? That would totally make my day. Been ages since I fucked a cherry pig. Think it was about before I met Blitz. Fuck. Why do I keep thinking back to him? Mentally growled Veronica as she got out of the tub and dried herself with a towel while checking the wound on her forehead. Suddenly, a knock sounded at the door. Veronica, I put some fresh sheets on the bed for you, and your clothes on top of the bed. Let me know if you need anything else. I have some antibiotics in the medicine cabinet if you want to clean your wound as well, called out Riven from the other side. Have a pleasant night. Okay, thank you, called out Veronica, straightening out her towel that could barely conceal her body. Maybe a tit job? Or a blowjob? I'll think about it in the morning. I just want to go to bed after today. Veronica entered his room and looked around, noticing just a bed, a dresser, and a small bookshelf with some books on it. I think this place is starting to get to me. I have a craving for a beer, or at least some Bielsa juice. Nice bed, though. Sure is soft. Wonder if the frame would hold up. Maybe give him an eyeful in the morning. Yeah, still not feeling it. Though giving him an eyeful sounds fun. I just want to pass out. Veronica instantly fell asleep as soon as she laid back. She tossed and turned in her sleep as all the terrible memories of her and Blitz replayed in her mind until she found herself in a wooden puppet style with a monstrous Blitz pulling her strings, laughing maniacally, startling her awake. She felt tears running down her face as she curled up once again, crying that she couldn't get her ex out of her mind. She heard a soft melody coming from outside the door, making her curious about the sound. She pressed her head against the door, listening to a gentle melody from what sounded like a violin, and slowly opened it. She peeked through the small space and saw Riven holding a violin as he skillfully played it. Veronica was mesmerized by the melody he kept playing until he stopped and wrote the notes in a small journal. He picked up his violin and started playing the melody again. Veronica felt like she was in a trance, loving his melody, unaware that she was humming along with him, and closed the door behind her, but kept close to listen to him play. She hummed along the melody every time he played, knowing that he was having difficulty with it, but it sounded perfect to her and was probably having creative issues. She slowly walked back to the bed, still humming the melody, until she fell back asleep into a peaceful slumber, listening to him play. Veronica groaned as light peeked through the curtained window, forcing her awake. She lifted herself up, noticing her strange surrounding before yesterday's events replayed in her head, making her groan again. She rubbed the sleep out of her eyes and stretched her joints and back, flexing her medium-sized wings before rubbing her hands down her side. She plopped back on the bed, not even bothering to cover up, as she replayed the events of last night and the melody Riven played stuck in her head. She hummed the melody in her head again, loving the sound of it, feeling relaxed as she did. A knock once again sounded at the door. "Verosika, you awake?" called out Riven, gently knocking on her door. She got up, thinking he was about to enter, but was somewhat disappointed when he didn't bother to open the door. "Yeah, I'm up. Don't you want to come in?" "I'm good. I just wanted to let you know that breakfast is ready," said Riven as she heard him walk away. "Fuck, I forgot I told him I'd like to sleep naked. Should have just opened the door to let him see a real woman's body." "Oh well," mentally groaned Verosika, humming the melody to herself as she grabbed her towel and walked towards the bathroom once again, missing him as he prepared the table. She walked out of the bathroom wearing her pink shirt that hugged her figure and jean shorts that stopped just below her bubble butt, with her tail waving lazily behind her as she sat down on the table. Riven poured her a glass of juice and water while finishing up some eggs, making Verosika take in the aroma of the delicious food. "Were you able to sleep comfortably last night?" asked Riven, carrying the stove over. "Sort of. At least as much as I could without the nightmares waking me up every so often. Bed was comfortable though, so thanks," said Verosika as he served a basic breakfast of eggs, beans, and blueberry waffles. "Did you make all of this by scratch?" "Yeah, never really like any of that instant stuff unless you count the coffee. Helps when I'm in a rush, but on my days off, I prefer a home-cooked meal. Please, dig in. Sorry if it's a little bland," said Riven. "You keep saying sorry a lot. You should have some confidence in yourself," commented Verosika, biting off her food, with her eyes widening. "Oh fuck, this is awesome." Thank you. I try to use healthy ingredients when I can afford it. I even have some fresh berries if you want some," said Riven, taking out a fruit salad from them to share. These waffles are delicious. I can't believe you made these from scratch. The beans, too. I never knew beans could taste this good, too. They never taste like this from the can." "I actually put in some cooked onions in it to give it some flavor, and then take the onions out so that the beans can absorb some of that flavor left behind. For the eggs, I use some of the parsley I grow myself," said Riven, pointing to a plant near the window. I never even knew eggs could taste this good either. It really gives it a refreshing taste," said Verosika, tasting her orange juice and actually found it a bit more refreshing than usual. "And this juice, is this freshly squeezed?" "Yeah, with a bit of mint grind in it to give it a bit more of a refreshing aftertaste, and helps with digestion," smiled Riven at the compliment. "There's seconds if you want." "You're not trying to get me fat, are you?" teased Verosika with a mischievous smirk on her face. "What? No, nothing like that, I swear," stuttered Riven, with his hands up in defense. "Relax. I'm just teasing. Your cooking is really good. Better than that greasy joint from yesterday, but at least they had decent strawberry milkshakes," said Verosika, enjoying her breakfast, making Riven blush again. They both finished their breakfast as Riven cleaned the table and started washing the dishes while she stared at his back. Her tail was waving lazily behind her, still wondering if he was up to something, and just decided to be upfront with him. "Hey, Riven," said Verosika, realizing that she just called out his name for the first time, and it felt strange in a way. "Yeah?" asked Riven, looking back at her. "Why did you help me?" asked Verosika, resting her head against her hands on the table. What do you mean?" asked Riven, confused at her question. "I mean, why did you help out some random stranger who you've never met and just decide to do everything that you did? You opened up your house, you gave me new clothes and shoes. For all you know, I could have just been some bait to lure unsuspecting suckers in to rob you blind. Not that I am, of course," said Verosika, seeing his alarmed face at her statement. "But if you're expecting something, I mean, I won't mind if you want me to give you, like, a tit job or a blow job. I mean, if you want to fuck me also, then I guess I can make an exception." No, it's nothing like that. I don't expect anything from you or any sexual favors in return, said Riven, realizing what he just said. Not that I wouldn't mind. I mean, you're a very beautiful succubus. I mean, any guy would be lucky to have such a beautiful succubus like you. I mean, do you always get this flustered when complimenting a girl? Giggled Verosika, enjoying his reaction. Sorry, apologized Riven, with his ears lowering. There you go again with that word. You should be more confident in yourself. Any girl would be lucky to have a nice guy who can cook for them and be considerate, said Verosika, making Riven blush a bit at her compliment, and went back to washing the dishes. Are you planning on answering my question, or are you gonna play the silent, melancholy type like some bad characters that humans like to come up with? Giggled Verosika. Oh, right. Sorry, don't apologize. You have nothing to apologize to me for. I was just asking a question because I was curious, interrupted Verosika. Well, I knew you were a succubus based on your appearance. Most demons around here are imps, and you saw how their hospitality is. Wrath isn't exactly the most hospitable environment with all the sandstorms we occasionally get, the fire tornadoes, the rivers of lava, and such. I figured you were from out of town and needed help. If it was any other imp, they probably would have taken advantage of you. Or worse. They like to prove their strength in many ways, and I'd hate to see someone get hurt when they're not even from here. It's also one of the reasons why I want to move, but I didn't know where to go. But thanks to you, I think I can look into this imp city in pride to start over, like you suggested. And that's more than enough for me, said Riven, with his tail waving happily behind him, making her giggle. You were right, also. Someone did hurt me, in a very bad way. I didn't have anyone, and out here, just looking weak is enough to get you a beating. I didn't want you to suffer that as well. So I wanted to help you so you can at least have someone to help with your pain, even if it is just temporary. I probably sound silly or like some weird stalker, huh? Nervously chuckled Riven, scratching the back of his head. No, not really. It helped a lot. Even more than you think, said Verosika, getting up as she grabbed a dish towel and started drying some of the wet plates. Verosika, you don't... Hey, if you don't want to take me sexually, at least let me help out around here for a bit. It's the least I can do after everything you've done to help me. You're even helping me get back to Lust so that I can start sorting out the mess that fucker left behind, said Verosika with a small smile. Right, stuttered Riven, getting back to finishing the dishes. That sexual offer still stands if you want to take it, though, said Verosika, winking at him, making him drop a plate. One-way ticket to Lust, please, said Riven to the ticket clerk as he paid for it and handed it straight to Verosika. Here you go, as promised. No strings attached. Shame. Wouldn't have minded if you did take up my offer, commented Verosika. But thank you nonetheless. You've been a real lifesaver for me. I will find some way to pay you back for all this, and I certainly won't forget about you. Thank you for your offer. But it just wouldn't feel right taking advantage of a beautiful woman after getting out of a rocky relationship like you did, smiled Riven. I also heard you playing last night. You have some real talent with that violin. It actually helped me get to sleep after waking up in the middle of the night. You play beautifully, said Verosika, making him blush. Oh, you heard that? It was beautiful, and it helped me relax enough that I could finally sleep after hearing something so beautiful. Interrupted, Verosika instantly silenced him by placing a finger on his lips. You really saved my ass in a lot of ways that you couldn't imagine. And you have a real talent too. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Elevator for Lust departing in 5 minutes, announced the station with a lustful tone near the end of the announcement. They really should update that. Maybe make it sound like she's getting plowed by a huge dick in her ass or something, commented Verosika, while Riven was blushing profusely. Verosika made her way to the elevator with some other demons heading towards Lust when she got a mischievous idea. She waited until Riven approached her a bit and then swiftly turned around to kiss him on his lips, completely catching him off guard. He muffled a bit with Verosika taking advantage to shove her tongue into his mouth, coiling it around his. She moaned a bit, knowing that this was probably his first kiss, based on how inexperienced it was, and felt herself grow a bit excited at the thought of it. She sucked on his tongue a bit before breaking the kiss, and placed her hands on his chest. She giggled at how stunned and speechless he appeared, and wished she had her phone to take a picture of it to remember him. Consider that as part of my long list of paying you back. Next time, it'll be just because I want to. And if you're ever in lust, be sure to look me up. I'll make time for you, and my offer will still be valid just for you, erotically moaned Verosika, before she walked away with her tail gently caressing his face before gently poking his nose. See you around, Riven. The Hellbat recovered a bit from his shock, blushing at the memory of the beautiful succubus giving him his first kiss ever, and noticed a faint scent of lavender from the soap he used as well. I wonder, would I ever really meet someone like her again? Did I just blow my one chance at finding a girl who actually could like me? Who am I kidding? I probably did. Still, my first kiss. It felt wonderful. Verosika was smiling excitedly at his stunned face, and actually liked teasing him a bit. She actually felt excited at the thought if she was actually his first kiss ever, and hummed his melody that he played last night. He was kind of cute for a Hellbat. Those hillbilly imps don't know what they're missing out on. He just needs a few polishing. He might even be a sex machine that can satisfy me. Sure wish I took a pic with my phone. My phone? My phone! Fuck! Cursed Verosika out loud, getting everyone's attention on the large elevator. I forgot my phone was broken when I hit that fucker through the fence post! I didn't even give him my number either! God fuck damn it!